What is good, everybody? Welcome to the Ugly Podcast with Alicia and Jordan Prince, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of relationships.
Hey guys, how are you?
We have a super cool podcast for you guys today. But before we get into that, how are you doing, Miss Prince?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Jordan. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Did you get a good workout?
I did.
Good.
Super energized, feeling good.
You ready to talk about some stuff?
Yeah, so what are we talking about today?
Today we are going to be talking about how to not lose your individuality while you're in a relationship, right? And this is just so important because although we love our spouses and our partners, it's so easy to get in that just crazy, in love, obsessive.
I want to be around you all the time.
Around you all the time.
You can't breathe without me, girl.
It can be super easy to get in that phase, but that's unhealthy, right? It can be extremely unhealthy. So we want to focus on how Jordan and I have implemented those healthy boundaries where we've never lost our individual selves.
For sure.
And accepting your partner for who they are individually, right? You don't want to ever change your partner. That's who you fell in love with.
No.
So we're just going to talk about how we kind of have always had a great grasp on ourselves and our individual lives. And I think this is going to be fun because it is something people, may struggle with. So
for sure.
Hopefully we can help. And if you guys have any feedback on how you and your partner always keep yourselves grounded with who you are, please drop it in the comments below and let us know.
For sure. So I'm going to start off.
Go ahead.
So the first thing I would say is always, every single day, allot time for yourself.
Every day.
Every day. So every day I have at least 2 to 3 hours by myself where Alicia is like not bothering me if she is up. Because most of the time I take my time in the morning. I wake up every morning at 4 a.m. So I make sure to get my time in before anybody else is up, before the dogs are running around, anything like that. So that's my number one is make sure you get that time to yourself because you need time to think your own thoughts. You need time to breathe without anything else going on. You need time to do what you need to do, things like that.
For sure. I 100% agree. And I think even if it's not every day for 2 hours per se, because that's a long time, Jordan, it's funny because, a lot of people may be like 2 hours, like we don't have that kind of time. Jordan makes it a point, and he always has, for as long as we've been together, he's made it a point where and I think you've just always woken up this
Yeah,
way.
I have.
But that's his time. So he commits himself to waking up at 4 a.m. every day
morning
to give himself his own time. Mine is in the evening. I'm an evening person. I'm a night owl. So I think my best, my most clear, like relaxed in the evening. And that's my time to really wind down and be by myself. So everyone's going to have their own routines. But for example, yeah, that's just how we've always
For sure.
had our own time every day.
I think we were kind of blessed on that, though, because you've always been a night owl and
Yes.
I've always
Yes.
been an early bird.
That's just something that has just naturally been, as we are our own individuals. And then as we've come together, like he said, I was just already a night owl and he was already a morning person. There was a time where I tried to wake up a little bit earlier to even just get stuff done because I can be a morning person.
She can, but I have to shake her awake 90% of the time.
Yeah, I can be a morning person. If you watch our Instagram and our stories, you see that we're up at the gym very early in the morning by 5:36 a.m.
5:30.
But Jordan still needs his 4 a.m. to 5:36 moment. And it was funny because me being up would distract him. Like
it doesn't even matter if she's near me.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be near him, and he would get very flustered and frustrated because he wouldn't want me up. So
go back to sleep, please.
Yeah, so that's very much his time and where he gets to clear his mind and do his own thing. And then mine is in the evening. But I think another point that's super important is accepting your partner's individuality in the sense of their hobbies, what they like to do.
For sure.
What they enjoy doing. I've heard this before where people will get consumed in what the other person likes to do so much that they just don't even really know what they like to do. And so it's good to kind of have your own hobbies too as well, even if you do them together, accepting them. Like Jordan is extremely, involved with guns. Like, he loves his guns.
Yep.
That's his hobby. And it's funny because there are going to be a lot of people that may have their opinions, but owning guns and shooting guns, it's a hobby, you know?
It is, for sure.
And I know that there's a huge gun community that will support that, but it is a hobby. So when I first met Jordan, I wasn't interested at all. I had no even knowledge or, I don't know, care to be involved with guns. And it wasn't that I had anything against them. I was never around them. I didn't really care much. And Jordan loves going shooting, and he loves going hunting, and he loves those hobbies. So I 100% have always accepted that. Like, that's his thing. I have to support that because that's what makes him happy. And I have always done that. I think that that's extremely important with your partners, is to don't try to change them.
No.
Like, don't try to change their hobbies or anything like that, because that's something that I was never really interested in. But sometimes if I want to just be sweet or, you know, maybe surprise him, like, we'll go shooting. Like, and,
For sure.
And I've grown to really like it. Like, I've grown to like it.
And appreciate it for what it is. Yeah.
And so that's one thing. And then mine is definitely like Jordan. I love being outdoors, and that kind of just goes hand in hand. Like, Jordan likes being outdoors as well. But my hobby is I love to go to the park with my dogs, or go to the beach, or go to the go hiking somewhere. Like, I have to be outdoors somewhere aside from like our everyday lives.
For sure.
So Jordan has always supported that and really embraced being outdoors with me.
Yeah, and I grew up outdoors, so that was easy. But the tough one was for me was the beach, because I don't like going to the beach because it's just hot, it's sandy, so you adapt and overcome. So I just used to bring a little umbrella that I screwed into the sand, bring an umbrella, screw it into the sand, and sit at the beach and chill.
Yeah, he would literally sit under the umbrella
the whole time.
The whole time. While me and Luna would run in the water and run on the beach and play and tan and just like have the best time. So like going into that, it could have been very easy for Jordan to just be like, no, I'm not going to the beach.
Yep.
Every time, you know, I wanted to go to the beach. And it could have been a very easy fight to have, because it's like, you don't ever want to go to the beach. Like, I want to go to the beach, and it's a difference in interest.
Yep.
But make that effort, you know,
For sure.
that small effort.
When you show interest in your partner's hobbies, it kind of makes them like feel like not validated, but kind of like they're like important, like their opinion's important, and what they do is important as well.
What they like is important.
Yeah, because it is at the end of the day. Like, that, if that's what makes them happy, who am I to tell Alicia she can't go to the beach?
Yeah, what they like is important, and learning how to kind of just bond over that and show each other interest in what you guys like as individuals. Definitely make that effort, because that has been a huge secret in our marriage, is that although we have similar interests, we're obviously our own individuals, and we've always just interacted with each other of what that person likes in their own like individual lives. Like, I would have never like been involved in the gun community until I had met Jordan. So that's just something that I think is important, and it's always been a really good like rule in our marriage, rule of thumb.
Yeah. Always embrace that person for who they are.
Yeah.
Don't ever try to change them. Like, it's just it's not worth it, because deep down they're always going to want to do that thing if that's something that they're truly interested in. Because no matter what Alicia does, I'll always be interested in guns. And like, if she was to be like, well, no, I don't want to own any guns, there's going to be friction there.
Yeah.
Because I do, and I will always. Like, so you have to embrace that person and almost for who they are, and don't try to change them.
So I want to kind of I want to talk about this a little bit specifically for women, because I dealt with really making sure I was my own individual self in this scenario. Oftentimes, I feel like a lot of women go through this, but let's talk about military, right? So Jordan's in the military. What does that consist of? Well, although we didn't have to move a whole bunch, we did have to move. And I made that commitment to follow him and support his career, because that was what he wanted to do with his life. And a lot of people could have been like, you know, why are you following him? Like, it's all about him, blah, blah, blah. But again, marriage is about becoming one and
balance.
building a life together. And when he got orders to Florida, of course, as his wife, I was going with him. But let's talk about having your own individual lives, because when we got there, Jordan had people to welcome him. He had a shop full of men and women saying, you know, hey, let's go out to dinner, let's go to the movies, let's go bowling, whatever it is. They are there to welcome you and greet you and build a community with you. And he had that already right off the bat. I did not. Not. And so this is what I want to talk about specifically. You have to make the conscious effort to make sure you have your own life. When I moved to Florida and I realized Jordan basically had a group of friends and community waiting for him. And this is the thing. I know a lot of military spouses may say, like, well, there's a spouse group. No one in Jordan's shop was married.
And there wasn't like a heavy, like, I didn't even know about it until like the year that we left, so 2018.
Yeah, and I know that no one in his shop was like really married or had girlfriends or anything like that. So that specifically was our situation. I know other military couples may have a different experience with moving and may have had a group of women there to greet them. I did not. I did not have that. So, and I remember at one point when we first moved there, Jordan said, you know, you can stay home. Like, I will support us. You don't have to work. And although that's amazing, and it can work for certain couples, for me, I was 18. I had no friends. I had no job, and I was not going to school. So I had, in the sense, no sense of community for myself. So for me, it was extremely important to get a job, to go out to social places. Like we got a dog, so I went to the dog park every day and met new people. In my apartment complex, I met who is one of my best friends to this day, Kiki. We love you,
my girl Kiana.
Shout out to Kiana. I met her in our apartment complex and built a relationship with her and other people. So I made the conscious effort of making sure I built my own life in Florida, right? Because I didn't want to be sitting at home, waiting and getting consumed in that, when it could very easily cause issues and make you feel like you lost your individual self. So when we moved to Florida, I made sure I got a job. I made sure that I started school. I would take my dog to the dog park and meet new people. And that helped me create my own individual life in Florida versus waiting at home at 18 years old and waiting for Jordan to get home and then just hanging out with Jordan all day. That I could have very easily lost myself. But instead, I chose to make a conscious effort. And it wasn't easy. Like, I didn't just make friends the first few days or the first few weeks.
No, it took a while, for sure.
It took a while because not everyone clicks. So it wasn't the easiest thing. But again, I strongly encourage, and I always have, especially military wives, everyone's situation is different, but, get a job, go to school, or find a workout group. Maybe there was workout groups there on Tyndall, and, just create your own life aside from your spouse. And I think that was extremely important for me.
No, for sure. It was, without a doubt, because it would have been super easy for you to get consumed in what I was doing if you didn't take that and become your own person. Like, how much did you grow without me being right there? Like, how much did you grow seeing stuff at work and seeing stuff at the dog park or talking to people at the dog park? We have like some super cool friends that we met at the dog park that you introduced me to, and like it's just super important to build together and alone. Like, you have to be able to build your own personality and take traits that you want to, because like at the end of the day, we can all build ourselves. Like, we can, we're just Lego blocks. I like to think of it like that. We can build ourselves into whatever we want to be.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important, and having a spouse that supports that individuality. You have, if you are in a relationship where that person doesn't want you to have your own life, your own friends, your own hobbies, like that is a red flag.
Yeah.
And you have to be aware of it. It's a huge red flag. I don't agree with it. I don't think that it's healthy. So just be aware of that. I do think that you can correct it, you know, because you're with someone like that, or you may be that way. You can correct it, and that's
Yeah,
what
it's just gonna take a lot of time and patience and understanding, and
that's what it's all about for sure. So again, that's just how I have always made sure I have had my own life aside from Jordan, and then we have had I think it's a blessing of an experience of Jordan being deployed and stuff, and we've been alone. And again, we have our own friends, we have our own communities, our own work. So we've always had our own lives and our own goals, and then you just come together stronger as one.
Yep.
So that would be a huge. I had to get all that out.
Yeah, I know.
Because I think that that's important.
No, I understand.
Especially for women. I want women to feel strong. And I know that when I was in Florida, I didn't meet people right away. Like, I had to make the effort. And I know it gets scary and I know it gets uncomfortable. But it's important. And sometimes those scary, uncomfortable things lead you to, like, a greater thing.
Yeah.
So... yeah, that's just what I think was important. What?
Nothing. It's just funny. You just got that whole little, like, 10-minute rant on. You was doing your thing, though.
Sorry, guys. I had to.
No, it was. I enjoy listening to you, so I know they will.
I just don't want people to ever think that this just, like, naturally have been like, easy things for us.
No, not at all.
Although we've never struggled with, like...
allowing ourselves to be individual.
You still naturally have the trials of trying to figure out your own individual self. Like I think you would have that issue single or in a marriage.
For sure.
You know? So
in a marriage, there's just another person you got to negotiate with.
For sure. Do you have any other
I don't at the time. I don't believe that I do. My big one is time, making time for yourself.
Yeah.
And I put that above anything else, is making time for yourself, because you have to. And that's just what I think. I think that's the most important thing, period.
I agree. Yours is definitely the morning time. So how do you feel that contributes to that time that you have in the morning? How do you feel that contributes to the growth within yourself?
So that's my hour and a half, 2 hours a day in the morning. That's usually like my reading time. So that's when I'm like consuming a lot of knowledge and a lot of different viewpoints. And I think like a lot of that stuff that I take from the books, it allows me to interpret and like approach our relationship differently. Like, cause I mean, reading books, you're just reading somebody's experiences. So this person's experiences I can learn from, and maybe I can see a situation that's similar to the person's experience, and then I could, okay, I learned from that. I can kind of adjust that here and change it. Okay, this is what I need to do to get through this. And I feel like it helps me a lot personally, because I need that kind of like reset time. Like you tell me, I'm a recluse. Like I can sit in the basement all day by myself without a problem. But that's like my recharge time. Like, cause I've been turning I've been turning more into a people person and mingling, and like I actually enjoy it now. But I'm a recharger. I have to recharge by myself, and that's when I really feel like I'm recharging my battery and like being able to present my best self to the world.
No, I agree 100%. I feel like if Jordan does not have his alone time, he's cranky. So so I know as a wife, I want you to have that alone time, because I don't want to deal with you being all cranky.
Because I'm cranky for sure.
And sometimes we have like more busy days than others, of course. But like I said, Jordan intentionally wakes up that early to make sure he gets that time. So that as well. I also wanted to ask, so how do you deal with your wife having different opinions than you? Because I'm my own individual.
You are your own individual.
So
you do have different opinions.
How do you as a husband deal with your wife having different opinions than you?
I not only think that's good, but I encourage it. I don't want an echo chamber around me. A lot of my friends have different opinions than me. You have different opinions than me on certain subjects. So do they. I enjoy that part of relationships because I think my own thoughts, but I love seeing other people's perspectives. Sometimes I just probe people and like ask them questions, but don't tell my opinion because I'm not asking to state my opinion or prove that I'm right
Or
about
convince them.
Yeah, or convince them that I'm right about a certain subject. I'm just truly wanting to know what they have to say and what's truly on their mind.
I agree. I agree completely. I think that it's important when you're in a marriage to understand that you're not always going to have the same opinions on everything, and that is necessary.
It is 100% necessary.
It's necessary 100%.
But when we do disagree, I'm always right though.
Yeah, ladies, I'm gonna let you get him in the comments with that one. So I'll let my ladies handle you. But I will say, of course, you have your foundational things that you want to be on the same page with. But there's just so many topics in life. So I think it's important to have disagreements and learn how to have healthy disagreements, right?
For sure.
Because you don't want to cause issues or have these huge fights over small disagreements that just, may not. Everyone decides what matters to them most. For sure. But learning in life that whoever you're with, there's going to always be disagreements on how to handle something.
It's just
what
something
you think about something.
It's inevitable.
And that's okay. I think that that's important. It's just about finding that balance of respect.
Yeah, and working through it. Like every problem doesn't have the same solution, so it's just going to take time and it's going to take effort and patience and understanding. It's going to take a mixture of all those things to just sit down and work through the problems.
One of the biggest things I like to keep in mind, especially, is that it's not you guys against each other. It's if there's an issue or a disagreement or a problem, it's you guys together as one trying to solve that problem, not going against each other and fighting each other, because you're just never going to win.
And that's the issue. Everybody's fighting to win. Like everybody wants to win. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. And what's that? That's butting heads.
Yeah,
you'll never get to
wins.
you'll never get to a solution like that.
Nobody wins. And then if you have a partner that feels that they can't vocalize their opinion because it'll upset you or it'll cause issues, you don't want that. You want honesty. So we've always tried to find a good balance of learning how to disagree. And
for sure.
Again, this is like a learning process for us. We've been together 7 years now. So do we have it down? I would say for sure. But, when we were young and I was young and didn't like when someone disagreed with me, it was a learning process. So definitely don't be afraid to disagree with each other.
Yeah, stick to your guns. Like, because a lot of the times...
Respectfully.
Yeah, respectfully, obviously. But she didn't like people disagreeing with her. But I'm a opinion...
You personally.
Yeah.
I didn't care about other people.
Yeah. I'm an opinionated person. So about a lot of things. And you're going to hear them. And that's what it comes down to. Like, you're going to hear what I think about this situation.
And I'm very opinionated too. So we've always been honest with each other. So yeah, it's just been like, if we disagree with each other, like, we're going to know about it.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think that that's important, is learning just a healthy balance of learning how to disagree with each other, because you're definitely not always going to be on the exact same page and thought process. And sometimes I do think it's best to hear each other out on your disagreements.
And also, you're going to have to do a little giving.
Yeah.
Like, I can't always make all the decisions.
Yeah.
So, like, and somebody may be used to making all the decisions all the time, but you got to be able to consciously say, like, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about this situation? How should we handle this situation? And doing that, you could build more trust in the person. Like, say you don't trust their decision-making process. You could build more trust in the person by saying, like, okay, how would you do this? Okay, well, what do you think about this? What if we did it this way? And then that's how you have that conversation of problem solving.
Exactly, because you are both your own individuals. You will both have your own perspectives on things. You'll both have your own thoughts, and I do think it's important to just have dialogue and talk it through. And, like, for example, Jordan is what is it called? I can be an emotional thinker.
I'm very logical and
logical. Like, And I'm not discrediting myself. I handle situations very well. But there are moments where I can be a very emotional thinker. Like, I will react emotionally to something. If I get hurt or I don't know, so anything happen. If I feel like a subject is really close to home, I may take it more emotional than Jordan would. And how I would think to do something, Jordan could 100% disagree on because he thinks a bit more logical. So
I tend
just
to,
a bit.
I tend to
Just a
be
bit.
fairly well with keeping emotion out of decisions.
Yes.
I'm almost like a scientist because scientists think about things very logically.
We're going to talk about this because Jordan thinks that that's like 100% the way to be, and I disagree because there are situations where he thinks so logical and almost so removed emotionally from a situation that he will not understand maybe where someone is coming from, or he will not how do I explain it?
I'll understand it. I just don't use it as a point in a conversation.
Maybe.
I don't think you can use emotion as a point in a conversation.
I'm talking more about like maybe you hurt someone's feelings though, or maybe they want you to, understand more of how they're feeling so that you can better a relationship, stuff like that. Where I feel like I do have to then step in and be like, baby, like you need to see it this way, because at the end of the day, we are not robots. We are human beings. We do have emotions, and those emotions are there for a reason. And so I think you have to kind of just like weigh it out. Obviously, nobody's perfect. Nobody can think perfectly logically or perfectly emotionally, but that's how we balance each other out, is because in our own individual selves, like, definitely Jordan helps me on the more logical side, and I help him on the more emotional side of like, maybe you could do this a little bit better, or it helps him. So I think that that's also something that can balance each other out. You have to kind of learn how your partner is.
For sure.
But yeah.
I think that was good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I try my best. We're definitely kind of like warming up. You'll see, like, as the podcast like continues to grow,
for sure.
We're like getting more comfortable with talking and, sharing our experiences and stuff like that. So I know the first one I watched it and I was like, ooh, I'm like so cringy.
I watched the second one and I was like, ooh. The third one was when I feel like we would like kind of cut our stride.
Yeah, we're finding like our rhythm. We're not so uncomfortable. Sorry. And we're just, out here trying to just talk about these kind of things. So I hope it helps people. And
for sure.
Please leave in the comments below how you and your spouse balance your individual selves, or, how you may have exited a relationship that wasn't healthy because you lost your individual self. So I think it's important to talk about that, because the healing process of that, so that you can one day, have a healthy relationship with yourself and then build with someone else, is extremely important. So let us know in the comments below, and stay tuned for the next episode on The Ugly.
Peace.